G'day everybody, Glen here, DMW. Look, I'd just like to take a bit of time out to show you guys, give you a bit of a hint on how to make a patina paint job, because it's all the rage these days. People are doing hot rods and old cars, and they want to make them look old again, even if they do have decent paint. So look, I'll take you through a step-by-step guide on a couple. This is actually a variation or a combination of a couple of different ways to do it. So I'll take you through it one by one. You decide what works best for you, but this will give you a little bit of a guide, and hopefully, yeah, you can get on those projects you own and give it a go. So what we've got here is an old part I've pulled out of the parts bin here. I'll give it a bit of a buzz up with some sandpaper, clean it up, give it a wipe over, and I've just whacked a bit of primer on it as a base. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to do this a multi-layer paint jobs, because you see old cars or old rusty patina that have been sitting out in the weather, you'll see several different layers of paint cover generally, and sometimes they have like a old red primer or could be a white primer or different layers that have been painted on over time. So we're going to try and create the same thing here right now and make it look as close as we can to something that's aged. So what I'll do is, number one trick when you're making a patina paint job is you want to sort of show some definition between the paint layers. So what we use to do that so the paint doesn't stick is you just use like a cutting compound. So you can buy just a cheaper cutting compound or down at the shop. We've got the stuff we use here. So what you want to do is, like I said, I've laid out a base layer of paint, is just start to lay a little bit of cutting compound on a few different areas. Just think, generally, parts rust from your edges first because they're thinner. So if we start to lay out this, what we'll do is we'll just start to spread it and dab it along the edges. Gives ourselves a bit of a surface that the paint won't stick to. We'll do a bit of a spot in the center here. Sometimes you get big rust patches and they start to form. That'll give us a bit of a basis for that. So what you want to do next, what I'm going to use is just like a oxide sort of base, so a little like a browny red color. I'll use that as the first layer on. We'll spray that on. Give it a shake up. Hopefully it works. It's in the cover for a while. I'm just going to use, just for this process, I'm just using old rattle cans. Doesn't really matter for this process, but obviously if you're doing it at home, you want to use like a proper automotive paint with a mixing system, or get the guys at the shop to mix you up something. So what we're going to do is just put a layer of paint down over the whole surface of that colour. I'm not going to do this whole part, I'm just going to do a bit of example area. So get that first layer of paint down, let it dry. Depending on what it is, you can put it under, you can use a hairdryer to try and dry it a bit quicker, or a heat gun, or we've got a booth here, we can chuck it on and bake. But it depends on what you do heat-wise. You could bake it in 15 minutes, half an hour, whatever it may be. So yeah, look, come back in a second, we'll bake this one off, and we'll wipe this cutting compound off, and we'll do the second layer. See you in a second. Righto, we're just finishing off this heating off process, the baking off process. What we're going to do very shortly is wipe off that polishing compound that we've used there, and that should expose that bottom layer of grey that we had there. So just get an old rag, bring it back. So as you can see, it's already given us a bit of a pattern there that makes it look semi-aged. You'll see you'll have like a defined edge there, but we can help that out when we're finished with a bit of feathering on the sandpaper, basically is what we'll do. So once you've done that, what I would do next is we want to reapply some more compound. So again, you want to still show that surface that we had, but you want to go probably a little bit wider this time, so you can start to show the next layer through. So pile it on pretty thick, because you don't want to dry it out, because it does make it hard to actually remove. So this is just building up layers of colour to try and bring it, give it that, that look that proper aged paint gets. As we know, there's no fixed pattern to that. It's all irregular. So we're going to try and do something similar here. Rightio. So we're ready for the next layer of paint. We might go a nice grey over that. So again, just do a full layer of paint over that again. So you know, folks, I'm certainly not a qualified painter. I don't attest to be, but I have played around over the years with different paint jobs and done a few, and tried out a few of these techniques on my own sort of projects. So hit and miss, learning on YouTube, on the internet, finding out what other people do is how I've come to this, to what I feel is the best combination of all these types and ways of making a patina paint job. So what we'll do again, we'll bake that off again. And then we'll start the process again. We might do a third layer. Righto, I'll be back with you soon. Thank you. Okay, so we've just finished baking off that second layer. What we're going to do, I'm actually going to leave the compound on for this third layer and just wipe a bit on the outside of where we got. Hopefully it won't destroy what we got there if I'll just dab it on. Looks up to you. Obviously, have a look at what sort of paint pattern and paint colours you've got on the project. If you're trying to match it up, obviously with a car you've already got, have a look at that pattern and get some colours mixed as close as you can to the original body or part of the body that you're trying to match up. Right, like I said, there's not an exact science. We're just gonna do what we think's best. We can fix it up a little bit with some sanding, feather it out a bit. Righto, we're gonna have a crack at that. Should be close enough. Righto, once again, just the third layer of paint on there. Bake it off again, and then we're ready to start sanding. Whoa, that's a wild green. But some of your old trucks, your old F trucks and Chevys were a green like this back in the day. Rightio. So let's let that set. Let's bake this off, and let's get into the next step. Right, everyone, we've baked off that final coat. Now we're gonna have a crack at wiping this cutting compound off and seeing what we've got underneath. So this is part of the excitement of it, I reckon. Just seeing what you've ended up with under here. Ooh, that's looking aged already. Very nice. Very nice. How's that? Starting to look the goods. Rightio, that's a pretty good starting base for a patina look, I reckon. I'll just grab another cloth in a minute and we'll give her a final wipe over, and then we'll start feathering out some of these patches. It's pretty handy to have a fully set up spray booth here, I must say. Makes it easy, but you don't need that stuff, really. You can do this in your shed at home, play around, have some fun with it, see what you can come up with. That's what it's all about. Right, now, hopefully, I've baked this off enough that we can start sanding it. One of the boys has kindly lent me his cordless sander, so we can do it in the booth here. I've got a bit of 80 grit sandpaper to start with. I'm going to give that a try. We want to start taking a bit of paint off pretty quickly to start with, and then we can go down the grades if we need to. Rightio, there you go. So what you want to do is start bringing out some raw metal in the middle of these, because that will be where we mix up a special blend of a rust enhancer. Like I said, all we're doing is feathering out the edges here a bit, giving ourselves a bit of bare metal. Again, it's up to you. Make yourself a whatever pattern you want here. Have a look at the original vehicle or whatever you're doing, and just see if there's a bit of a pattern or a look that the rust has formed naturally, and try and emulate that if you can. I reckon for this exercise that'll be enough. So we'll give it a bit of a wipe off again. So as you can see, we've still got those couple of colours we had originally, but now we've got some bare metal spots as well. So along here you can see that's all bare metal. So what that will do is when we make up our rust enhancer, that will give us something to form that rust on. Next step, we're going to make instant rust. So it comprises of 3 main ingredients. You want some vinegar. So we've got cleaning vinegar, it can be any vinegar really, doesn't really matter. Hydrogen peroxide. So my wife's a hairdresser, so I've stolen some bleach off her. You can buy hydrogen peroxide from the chemist or wherever. And just some plain old table salt, rock salt, whatever you want to do. Just make it finer the better, obviously, because it's got to dissolve. So this is going to be a bit of a slap-happy mixture, but the rough idea is, depends on how much you're making. We're only going to make a little bit because we've only got a little small job here. So just punch a heap of table soap, maybe a couple of tablespoons by the time you're done into here. So we're just going to line the bottom of that bottle pretty much. Like I said, we don't need to have a big massive mixture here. We're only going to need a little bit for this panel. You just mix up what works for you. As we all know, those guys that take their 4 drives to the beach, salt is your enemy. So what does it do? Cause rust. So that's why it's the main ingredient of this. What we're going to add now is probably about half a cup of cleaning vinegar. This is how I cook, by the way, too. No measurements. Just wing it, do it by eye, something like that. And a similar amount of your hydrogen peroxide, or in this case, hair bleach. Whack the lid on, give that a good shake up. Shouldn't explode, hopefully. What you want to do is try and dissolve that salt, so mix those other couple of ingredients together with it. So I would shake it up, probably leave it 10 or 15 minutes, and then come back and we can give it a bit of a go on this panel we've prepared. Righto everyone, we've given that 10 minutes, 15 minutes to all mix together into its rusty gloriousness. So what I've done actually while I was waiting for that, I did feather out a little bit more of this metal, give it a bit more exposed steel there. So hopefully it'll make the effects look more dramatic. But this is pretty cool. So what we'll do, like I say, in a spray bottle, we'll give it a liberal spraying of this. And yeah, look, you can see what happens. As you can see, before your eyes, it's actually creating rust on those exposed surfaces. So, give it a good spray. Again, give it 10 minutes, 15 minutes in between. Let it do its job. We'll dab that off gently, and then we can just keep reapplying until we're happy with what we've got. So, come back in a second, we'll see what we've got here. Righto, we've left that about 10 minutes now. What we're going to do is just take a rag again, dab that off, don't wipe it off, it'll make a mess. Just dab it off and we'll see what we've got underneath. Like I say, you might have to do this several times to get the right effect, but as you can see, it's given you years of age in just 10 minutes. Look at that rusty goodness. Probably should wear gloves for this too, to be honest. Right, what we're going to do now is we're going to spray another layer of this on because we want it to rust up a bit further. Righto, we'll just leave that for another 10 minutes. We'll come see what it's done. And I reckon that might almost do it for this. We'll show you the finished effect in a minute. Righto everyone, we've left that second coat of instant rust on long enough, I reckon. Again, just dab it off. Let's see what we've got under there. Try it out yourself. You know what effect you want in the end. Leave it on overnight if you like, it doesn't really matter. Just have fun with it. Oh yeah, it's rusting up nicely actually. So as you can see, that's starting to give it a nice aged appearance. So don't forget everyone, this was a brand new panel we started with not that long ago. And already it's starting to look like apart from the horrible green, bright colour, it's starting to look like an aged panel already. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, it's a combination of a couple of different ways you can do it. Play around with yourself, have a crack. Hope this inspires you to get into some projects of your own. So thank you for watching this. Hope you continue to enjoy the 47 build, and thanks again.